We haven't seen so many US diplomats expelled or threatened with expulsion since 1986 and the heights of the Cold War. Just how serious is this escalation in tensions between Russia and the United States?
Well, actually, it's the second level of expulsion which is taking place because back in 2012, just as the crisis in Ukraine was escalating into what was going to become the annexation of Crimea, on October 1st, 2012, the staff from USAID, the United States Agency for International Development, was already expelled from Russian territory, and we were talking the Obama administration. So it seems that this time it was a civilian federal agency, not diplomats, but working together with U.S. diplomacy. So it's the second round, really, that we are witnessing today.
And where do you see this ending, this kind of tit-for-tat diplomatic moves between two of the world's greatest powers?
Well, it's a very, very strange situation. At the same time as it seems to be escalating into a new Cold War, and at the same time, dialogue is still going on and some form of détente in this strange Cold War overtones or this strange Cold War atmosphere. At the same time, détente is taking place, as we've seen Rex Tillerson, the U.S. Secretary of State, engaging dialogue with the Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, at the same time as we're seeing the two military staffs somehow coordinating over Syria to avoid an incident, quote unquote. So we're really seeing a sort of two-track policy which is taking place between these two superpowers, somehow at least both of them establishing themselves as superpowers right now, at the same time as you were mentioning that Vice President Pence is now in Georgia, at the same time as NATO is really like the four letters which are not being pronounced so much by observers right now, but which is the heart really of what Vice President Pence is doing right now between the three Baltic states which joined NATO in 2004. He's heading next to Montenegro, which joined last June, and Georgia is next on the list with Bosnia and possibly the Republic of Macedonia. So really we are talking NATO's enhanced forward presence towards the Russian border, and this is at the heart of what Vice President Pence is doing right now.
Well, right, but there is some ambiguity, isn't it? Because on the one hand, you have got Mike Pence visiting these former Soviet states and saying, we're with NATO, we're with you against Russian aggression. It wasn't so long ago President Trump was calling NATO obsolete. I mean, if you were the president or prime minister in one of these eastern states, would you really feel confident that you could count on the support from the United States?
I do believe this is the mission that Vice President Pence is carrying out right now. He's speaking in the name of the president, but at the same time being somewhat of a more reassuring figure than President Trump, who had such a hard time when he was at this small summit of NATO a couple months ago. He had such a hard time pronouncing Article 5, and he refused to actually say it on European soil. Here, Vice President Pence, oops, that was a nice slip, Vice President Pence is using the exact same terms, and it really struck me as a diplomatic historian as well. He used the exact same terms President Bush Sr. used in 1989, in May 1989, when he was looking forward towards a Europe reunited, a Europe whole and free was the name of the speech at the time being held in West Germany. When Mike Pence is saying that we stand today where East meets West. We stand as one, U.S. and Europe together. And this is typical George H.W. Bush Sr. back in 1989. So we have this Cold War rhetoric at the same time, which sounds much more credible, I would think, to the ears of Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Georgia, Ukraine, possibly as well.
Annick, Cizel, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.